Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of ITS Now, episode 11. So this week I'm gonna switch things up a little bit. We're gonna do a recap of the ACL kids and their progress this week, and then I'm gonna show some exercises and how to improve on your hitting swing for softball and baseball. I know that there's different mechanics for each sport, but it's a general motion, just some general exercises that can help increase their strength in their core and their trunk muscles and their hip flexors and their hip rotators and things like that they need to make sure that they can get as powerful a swing as possible and stay as healthy as possible. So things are going good at the gym. Things are progressing. I have been able to launch the app for ITS. It's through MindBody. It's a free app, so you go to your app store and download the MindBody online app, and then you search for innovative training solutions, and from there people are going to be able to schedule and pay for their visits and their classes up front. I did hide some free offers, not really free offers, some discounted offers for first time clients coming into maybe yoga classes or anything, so definitely check that out. And then there's going to be boot camp classes kicking off starting November 14th, I believe. The 13th is when we're going to do measurements. I am not running the classes. Pride Athletics is coming in to run the classes, and they have all the access to it. So it's a 6-week challenge, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, morning sessions only right now, 15 people to a group. It's a 5:30 to 6:30, 6:30 to 7:30, and 9 to 10 class session. So you pick one of those classes. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you come for 6 weeks. There's assessment before and an assessment after, and first place wins $100, I believe. Second place wins $75, and I believe third place wins $25. So cash prizes. And at the end, like right before Christmas is when it ends. Who couldn't use extra cash at that time? So check it out. It's on my Facebook page as well as Pride Athletics Wellness. The link is on my Facebook page. So check that out, and then you can click on the link and sign up for the session or the challenge. All right. So first up, ACL kids. Logan has progressed well. His hamstring is getting better. And, again, he did come in with a hamstring graft for his ACL reconstruction, but he also came in with a pretty significant hamstring strain, almost a tear. I'd say grade 2. So we've been overcoming that. He will be progressed to agilities and single leg work and jumping work this week. Chanel and Chastity are cleared. They're ready to go. You saw their dedication, or their the YouTube video last week was just for them. Marissa Silve, she had her last doctor's appointment this past Thursday. Doctor was extremely happy, excited how strong her leg is and ready for her to advance. She has her script for her brace, so brace measurements are coming for her. Caitlin was measured for her brace. She's getting better. Her low back pain is gone since we started focusing more on her left hip weakness. She's a right knee reconstruction, but her left hip was weak, which threw off her chain when she would squat and deadlift. So we backed everything down, focused on left hip strengthening, and then started backing up the weight again, like increasing the weight increments again for squat and deadlift. I look forward. She's jumping and she's doing other things. So she has a little bit more of a smile on her face because she's actually able to do sports stuff. Riley is doing well. She's at 10 weeks this week. She has had a little bit of a change. She's been working harder for me. She still argues, but that's okay. That's her personality. It's how she is. It is what it is. It's good. It doesn't bother me. But she's working harder for me. She's deadlifting. She's squatting. She's a little bit more open to newer exercises, and she's ready for it. I think she understands that she's not going to get back to volleyball until she gets stronger. And Maya, we have 4 weeks until she starts her return to play plan, as long as the doctor's okay with it. 4 weeks is not a lot of time. So it's go time. So we really got to make sure we focus on getting her really strong, making sure her core is in check, making sure her hips are equal, strength-wise, making sure her knees are good, and her ankle mobility is good. So this next 4 weeks is pretty critical to get her going and make sure everything is fine-tuned so that we can start the return to playing plan in December, and then she returns to play full go in January. That's pretty much what I got going with the ACL kids right now. I did start with some new athletes this week, not ACL athletes, just sports performance athletes. So I will be introducing them slowly in the next episodes. But yeah, that's it. So I'll stay tuned. Check out the next few exercises that I have set up for you guys, and I'll see you next week. Hello. So I decided on the sports performance clinics, like the strengthening clinics for specific sports like softball, baseball, and soccer, to start adding in sport-specific movements, meaning like focus on movement patterns and how to strengthen into those movement patterns. So this week I chose the hitting pattern for softball players. So you're going to see 7 videos that work on increasing trunk rotation or increasing trunk strength, core strength, hip mobility, hip flexor strength, as well as internal and external hip rotation, which is really necessary for that drive force. The videos are of 2 athletes that have consistently been coming to the clinics. Both of them have played softball their whole life. And one of them is going on to play at a higher level once she graduates from high school. So they both have a pretty strong understanding of the sport, the movements of the sport, and they both understand the importance of strengthening and maintaining a proper, healthy balance in muscles so that they can not be hurt, not get injured, and keep playing as hard as they can. You're going to see 3 lower body exercises that also include some trunk rotation in them. In those exercises, I really like to incorporate those to focus on increasing the oblique strength as well as that trunk rotation, which is part of the obliques. And then also working on that hip mobility, which a lot of times you'll see hip flexors are too tight or internal external rotators are restricting of the hip, are restricting the athletes. So I incorporated those in. And then I did some neuromuscular stuff for the lower extremity. Basically, neuromuscular means the nervous system and the muscular system are working together to strengthen and stabilize that joint. So together that helps improve on their ability to withstand and tolerate different forces coming at them during sport activity, because you never know what's going to happen or what type of surfaces they're going to meet. And it's pretty important to strengthen up the joints into those, or strengthen up the joints and the stabilizers, making sure that they're ready to go. So check out the next 7 exercises. Try and incorporate them into your daily routines. If not, and if you have questions or anything, just shoot me some emails or some questions, or DM me on social media. The first exercise I want to go over is the lunge onto the box. The athlete starts facing away from the box, almost in a perpendicular angle, and then they open up their hips and they step onto the box. When they step onto the box, they're rotating their back hip through and making sure their hips are square and their shoulders are square forward. You can make it a little bit harder by adding in a medicine ball chest press at the end of the movement. I like this exercise because it adds in a little bit of hip flexor strengthening as well as glute strengthening, and forces the hips to stay square. So in this exercise, you're going to see the athlete do the lunge onto the box again, but this time they're leading with their right leg. Step onto the box, rotating both your right foot and your your right hip and your left hip into a lunge position, making sure your hips, knees, and shoulders are square, as well as toes are square forward. You're opening up those hips and making sure you rotate through the back leg, as you would when you do your swing. This exercise is really good because it focuses on the hip flexors, forcing them to become stronger, works on a little bit of hip mobility, as well as increases strength in the glutes and hamstrings, which are your stabilizers. Again, if you want to add in a little bit more complicated work to it, you can put a medicine ball into it with a chest press. In this exercise, you're going to work on trunk rotation as well as hip rotation with a mini band, or a super band, so you make sure that the super band is attached to a sturdy object that's well into the wall. And then you have the athlete start in their hitting stance, arms extended as if they were going to be with a bat in their hands, but it's the mini band or the super band. Then you have the athlete rotate slowly, pulling through their abs, so belly button to the spine, making sure that when they rotate their hip and they extend their arms out and swing through, in a sense that they're contracting their abs and pulling through their abs. This exercise is awesome to build up the obliques and the trunk muscles, as well as work on that hip mobility on that right back leg. Okay, in this exercise, you're working on neuromuscular training, so both challenging the muscles and the nervous system to strengthen and stabilize at the same time. It's a great exercise for lower extremity, especially for ankle mobility and ankle strengthening. So you find an uneven surface, whether it's the pillows or the discs that are used in this video, or memory foam, or some type of uneven surface. Single leg stance, so stand on the right leg first, unlock the right leg slowly, have a tennis ball for each person in each hand, or one person has a tennis ball in the right hand, one person has a tennis ball in the left hand. and they throw with their right hand, catch with the right hand, throw with the left hand, catch with the left hand, constantly throwing back and forth, trying to challenge their bodies to maintain that balance without putting their other leg on the ground. This is a great exercise and a great tool to increase, again, their strength in their ankles, knees, and hips. On this exercise, again, you stand on either a disc or some type of uneven surface. One leg first, so the right leg first. Stand with a slight bend in the right knee and the right hip. With the tennis ball, slowly toss it up in the air 5 times and catch it, making sure to maintain your balance the entire time. This is a great exercise to force the center of gravity to stay square and even so that you can maintain your balance, and also because you're not staring at one object, it's harder to keep your balance. So the throwing in the ball or the throwing of the tennis ball forces your body to adjust, and the balancing part becomes harder. In this final exercise, you're going to be standing again on an uneven surface with a medicine ball. These medicine balls are about 4 pounds in weight. Again, slightly unlock the right knee and the right hip, standing on it. And you're going to draw the ABCs with the medicine ball in the air, forcing your body to stay low, hips and shoulders to stay square so that your center of gravity is equal and balanced. And then you just draw the whole alphabet. I would do 2 sets on each leg just to challenge your body enough.